Okay, meeting now. All right, so we are live, I believe. Meeting is now live. Let me just check here on my end here, see if we're live. Yep, okay, we're live now. So I am going to repost this link here on my Twitter, and then I will introduce you, Lofus. So tweeting out the link here, and action. Okay, guys, so got a very special guest here for you today. Lofus Crypto is on the stream today. What's up, Lofus?
Hey, Mustafa. Doing really well, really well. It's been a very interesting and exciting day.
Okay, maybe Lofus Crypto is on the stream today. Sorry, I'm having a little audio issues here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that. So what's going on? How are you today?
Today has been a fantastic day. Very rough start across the markets, as you could tell.
And I know you said you had some very interesting news for us today, right?
Oh, you're breaking it. Yes, yes. Guys, I found something fantastic in the charts. I looked up in the sky and I looked down and then something just, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't do it. Yeah, but I have something really, really exciting. And what I'm super excited about it is that it's been a topic that, we've seen a lot of behavior and a lot of trends, and even like Ada Whale talked about something, right? And all of these things are slowly coming together. So we'll certainly get to it. I think it's really pointing to the right direction. One of the best news I've probably seen in a while.
Yeah, I've been following the price action very carefully over the last couple of days, and it's been hard. It's been really hard being a holder. But today, with the news with Elon Musk, it seems that has affected the markets in crypto, and very excited to share some of the price action. And I'm not sure if we're seeing an actual reversal or not today. I'm not gonna try and call it, but definitely a nice bounce from today's news, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, it was a rough morning, right? The first half of the day, everything was kind of like going through, everything was going down. The VIX was up, right? I mean, when I look at it, so let's go through everything, right? We'll do a little bit of macro. So here's what I was thinking. We talk a little bit of macro. We touched briefly on Bitcoin, nothing really, but for me, the big one is ADA, where I saw some really interesting things.
Okay, great. So do you have any charts that you want to share with us today, Lofus?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's jump right into it. Let me share here my screen. Let me know when you see it.
Looking good.
All right. So here's what I like to look at here, right? So let's look at what's been going on the exchanges on Bitcoin. When we look at the block information, which gets updated more frequently, right? Almost like every 6 minutes or so, you can really see that there's been some really nice in the last couple of days, a couple of nice outflows, right? So big purchases and coming out here, being removed. So that to me is very promising. When I look at the trend, right? So since April 18th for the last week or so, you kind of see that trend coming down. So I think that's a very nice, promising one. As we look at what our miners doing, slight uptick, right? But they're doing, they bring some on, they sell some, they bring some on, they reaccumulate, sell some, reaccumulate. Now let's focus a little bit on the funds here. Mm-hmm. So here's what's been going on with the funds. So the funds through, middle of February, they've been selling some, then they started reaccumulating it, right, through end of March, and then they started selling off. And now they're like slowly stabilizing, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling they're going to start getting back into a little bit of an accumulation here. Mm-hmm. But to be frank with you, I mean, the only thing they really sold, if you really think about it, is they probably had about 729,000, right? So what is that? Yeah, 729,000 BTCs. And that what they sold off roughly 7,000. So that's not really big. Like 7,000, that's not big volume there, guys. That's nothing to worry about. That's just some little games. Here's what I like. But here's what I like, and this is the one I keep talking about, and I've been following. It's this. Look at that, right? So the premium, right? The discount or the premium for the fund market premium, kind of came down here, and now it's going back up.
Interesting. Yeah,
Right?
and there's been some news, some rumors that
Yep.
Grayscale is
Correct.
buying for the BTC ETF again, and they're not stopping.
No, and then you got like something, I think Gabor Gurbac was talking about in Australia. There's an ETF, right? I think he's been tweeting about. So there's some ETF, spot ETF, I believe, in Australia. So that's kind of like what we're seeing down here. So institutional money is starting to come back in, and even in some of these GBTC and alike, we're starting to see some of that discount that we had being evaporating away. So I'll be frank with you, both my kids, they continue buying GBTC, and if you go tell my 6-year-old daughter what is GBTC or Bitcoin, she knows exactly what it is, and she's like, "Daddy, can you buy me some more?"
Wow, you're a good dad.
Well, they take their allowance money, right? I told them, like, you could waste it away on candy, or you could waste it away on buying GBTCs and the like. So now they're on board. It's a no-brainer. It's a nice time to bond with them over it as well, right? We talk about
maybe we can get them some chocolate Bitcoins.
Maybe, yeah, for next Christmas. So here's then what I look at, right? I think something's about to happen. Something's about to break here when I look at the funding rate, right? I mean, you could look at the summer. We were down here all red. We've been in red as well here, right? So let me just zoom in. Maybe not. We didn't go as deep, right? But I think we're going to start. I'm tempted to say that things are going to move up.
Yeah, we were talking a couple of weeks ago, and we did this stream, and we were sort of going through this exact same process, and we were both like, our opinion hasn't changed over the last couple of weeks.
No, and then when we last talked, right, this was right here. And look, since then, well, actually, no, we talked here. So, guys, I think this is all good.
If you could just take a second to reiterate the fund premium, because I think that's a pretty significant point. For those who aren't aware of that, maybe do you want to try explaining that just briefly?
Yeah, I mean, really, what that is like, this is a really great explanation, right? The fund market premium it's the NAV minus the market coin price, right, divided by the NAV, right? Higher the premium indicates strong buying pressure from the prospective country, right? So it's really there's the asset value, the net asset value, and then there's the value of the fund, if you will.
Right. And so the correlation with that is that if there is a negative figure there, if the fund premium is negative, that means it's being sold at a discount, and if it's positive, that means it's being sold at a premium. Therefore, and it's reflecting upon, if they're selling it at a discount, therefore the demand, the supply is they have more than they need, and they want to sell more of it. But as it gets more and more bought up, the premium starts to go up. It gets more expensive to buy it. But right now, what you're seeing is that the discount is going away, right?
That is correct, right? So like, if you think about it here, right? So right now you're at a 15%, right? So it's an 18. Well, right now it's at 15%, or wherever that is. Let's do a little zoom in here. Maybe we don't need to have as much, right? I mean, just think about it, right? So when we put in our early 2021, it was still selling at a significant premium.
Yeah.
Right. And then things flipped.
When things started going down.
Yeah. And then it started bottoming out at 26%, right? 26. And now it's, as of,
it's beginning to arc back up again.
Correct.
Not up. It's not above zero yet. Where is it now? It's what's the score
19,
now? Okay.
19 and a half.
So, and where was it when it last rolled in the green? Well, when it rolled over from the green, was
February 21. February 2021.
And that was basically the zero mark there. Okay, yeah, I see. So
what I like about this, right? So let's say as Bitcoin appreciates, and you pick up some of that appreciation in the value, right, of, let's say, GBTC, but then you also, you may also pick up a couple of percentage points here from the fact that it'll go back to either zero, or maybe it'll go back into the green, where it'll be bought, will be in a premium versus a discount.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little, it's a nice little investment. So that's why just recently, like I said, myself and even my kids, I've just been, they've been buying it. And we can look at that chart as well from a TA perspective, and it's a really good time to buy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll eventually get into that at some point towards the second part of this video of this live stream.
Yeah, yeah. So let's take a look, right?
Want to get into
So
it now?
yeah, why not?
Okay.
So let's look at some big items here. What happened today, right? And then let's go down to the 6 hours. Let's look at the 6 hours.
Okay.
Right. So this morning, I think there was a little bit of fear trading here today, right? Fear and safety trading going on today. I mean, look at this is the S&P 500, right? People woke up, it crashed down exactly to the bottom of the BB band here, the Bollinger Band, and then people came back from lunch. Maybe they did that Matthew McConaughey, had a couple martinis and they did that thumping sound, like the home, right? I don't know what the hell they did during lunch, and then all of a sudden, everything came back to normal, right? So you see, and it's interesting, you see it a little bit across the board, right? Like, look, boom, first half came back. Because in the morning, it was very red. Look at that, Dow Jones, right? Crash, came back. So, and then VIX, all of a sudden, VIX did the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Went up to almost 31, and then it settled it settled down at 27. So today was, now here's the interesting thing, right? And I think this is what you and I talked about.
Yes.
The Dixie.
From what I've been seeing, it's very correlated with what's going on right now.
Yeah. And you see that, right? So first half, a little bit high, right? It put it in an all-time high, or at least in a while. All-time high, definitely for 22, maybe in 21, maybe even 21. And then all of a sudden, right, as everything else was, right, then this thing started coming down. So what do I think is going to happen here? Is I like to look at this a little bit more on maybe on the weekly. I am not going to be shocked if this is what's going to play out. See?
Yeah. I was looking, those tweezer tops, it's like a dead giveaway. And I was watching it this morning on I believe it was the 2 hour or the 4 hour frame. And, on the shorter term time frames, I was seeing a lot of topping out signals, but for some reason it keeps on having another final breath, but it's continuously showing signs of weakness. And I don't think it has very much steam left in it. I'm calling the top at 102.3. Don't quote me on that, not financial advice, but that's where I have my markings.
Oh, there's my marking of 103, my friend.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it'll go up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I think that's going to hit it by, let's say, call it like, June, maybe July.
Yeah.
June, July. And then, and then it'll just reverse. And I think when that thing starts to reverse, that's when we'll see crypto take.
Right? From a macro perspective, how do you feel about the Federal Reserve having a bunch of assets that they're ready to unload? How does what kind of implications would something like that, a mass sell-off of assets from the Federal Reserve, have on the DXY index and the implications of that throughout?
Oof. Wow, that's a good one. I don't know. I don't believe right now, I'll be frank with you, I don't believe that we're going to see quantitative easing.
I would say that my opinion on that is that even though they say that they will do the quantitative easing, they may, because it doesn't make sense for the Federal Reserve to dump valuable assets for what they know is basically worthless fiat. Why have more fiat on your balance sheet when you can just make it out of thin air? So it would make no sense for the Federal Reserve to dump the assets that they're holding in order to acquire more fiat, unless their purpose is to prop up the dollar and the DXY for the sake of keeping, you know, people from panicking and having a panic overall.
Right, right. And the other thing is, like, how does that fit into this whole great reset, right? And some of the things that the World Economic Forum keeps talking about, right? This whole thing of like, you won't owe nothing and you'll be happy. Which,
I definitely won't be happy.
no, and listen, no one's going to be happy because it goes against human nature. I grew up under communism. Communism has taught me you don't go against human nature, and there's fundamental human behaviors you can't go against, and then and that's competitiveness, right? And for lack of a better term, greed, right? We're not equal. I am sorry to say, we're not equal. There always has to be someone who's smarter, stronger, more courageous, right? And then you'll have leaders and you'll have followers, and then you'll have a few sigmas, right? Alpha, beta, sigma. That's the world, right?
Interesting. I think I was so I do Charles Hoskinson transcripts and reports, and on his recent topic, which went extremely deep on all aspects of life, not just crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the statements that he said that really stood out to me was that you can't stomp out demand. It's physically it's like impossible. Like, for example, he was saying how that the United States war on drugs was a, I don't know how many billion, hundreds of billions of dollars effort, maybe $1 trillion of effort. And, 20, 30 years later, there's more drugs in America than it was when it started. When there's a demand for something, you cannot stomp it out. It's like trying to stomp out human nature, like you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, this doesn't belong here, but the amount of schemes and hustles that people who grew up under that system were able to figure out and manage just to make ends meet and to rise above it all. And it wasn't like, and I'm not talking about like anything illegal. I'm talking about, doing things because the government didn't allow you to, and although they were very righteous, such as, very simple things like getting your hands on a book, getting your hands on an opera script, right? Or getting your hand on some Western literature books or whatever that is, right? So, I mean, there was, like I said, it doesn't belong here, but I think it's to kind of to your point. If there's a demand, people will find a way.
Right, exactly. Like there's a demand in this country for freedom of speech. And our last hope of that was Twitter.
Right,
And it was about to be taken away from us.
right.
And
And then look where we're in the middle. Some people are trying to manipulate the dollar, manipulate our currencies, manipulate our monetary systems, and now all of a sudden we came up with Bitcoin, Cardano, right? So some of these other, so
yeah,
we're finding
crypto
solutions
is
to this.
is like to me another form of free speech or freedom of I mean, you could say freedom of money is a category of freedom of speech because your money is how you express yourself and how you communicate in a sense
Mm-hmm.
and how you survive.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, maybe you could classify freedom of money and put that as a separate stature in the Constitution or something like that. But it definitely is a demand that's not going to go away. And the government, no matter what they do, they won't be able to ban it. And if they do, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot because it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry.
Not just that, it's kind of like what you said, right? Like the example you said with the drugs, right? If you try to ban it, demand will increase. I mean, look what happened in Nigeria. They banned it, there was a premium. Turkey, they try to do something, there was a premium, right? There was also a premium, I heard also in Russia, right, recently, right? So this is all things that
Yeah. It's
I
like
really
trying to
believe that this is
contain,
the
it's like
future.
trying to contain the forces of nature. Good luck
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, exactly. All right. So look, just very quickly. So we can talk about ruble, but I thought everyone. This to me, this is mine, and this is what makes me believe that something is up, right? And I'm not necessarily thinking that. I'm not overtly worried right now. And I really wish that we get peace as quickly as possible in Ukraine. But I mean, the ruble right now, it's at 74.6. Look at it. It's right here. It's back to the average it was since 2020. Right. So this
So
kind of
was that spike? What was that spike that we're seeing there?
well, that's when the ruble depreciated significantly versus the US dollar. So it peaked at 154,
Okay,
right, for like a week. And then
I see.
within a couple of
So
weeks, it was coming
yeah,
back down again.
I see what you're saying. Okay, so this
Right.
chart, I was just trying for those who are looking at it. It's the U.S. dollar priced in the ruble. So it's the higher this chart goes, the lower the value of the ruble, and the higher against the
Mm-hmm.
dollar. Yeah.
Right.
So the price of the ruble is now the same as it was pre Ukraine war.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. If you think about what has been the average since
Mhm.
2019, it's been 71.7,
Yeah.
and it's at 74.6.
Interesting.
Right. So it kind of makes me believe. And then I don't know if you heard, right? So I think the U.S. foreign minister or defense minister is thinking of going out to Ukraine. Right. Several European Parliament members have been going out to Kiev to have conversations. I think that's pretty hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
If there was really some really imminent danger, I'm not sure they would be so comfortable in going out and walking around the streets of Kiev, even with all their security, right? Or the Americans would be going out relatively, I think, in the coming days.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting. When I was listening to Hoskinson's recent AMA, he had some very interesting stories to tell about his trip to the Ukraine. I think he said that he asked some of the people that were working at the bases there, where the refugees were coming and leaving, that they were seeing up to 30,000 people a day there, which is, if you think about that, it's in just one location. It's pretty incredible what's going on there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's the whole story is documented in the transcripts that I'm doing, which people can get from my website, thecardanoguy.com.
That'd be awesome. Looking forward to it because I haven't had a chance to look at it. But look at gold, right?
Yeah.
I mean, gold really hasn't done much, right? Despite Peter Schiff trying to do whatever he can. But same thing with silver, right? Like, I mean, it's there. It's in the averages.
All right.
Right,
Seems stable.
all the commodities have come down, and I'm looking at this one, right, the 10-year yield, and it's kind of like doing the same thing as the U.S. dollar, right? So do I think that, right? It came down a little bit today, right? So do I believe? And look on the weekly chart, look for how long it's been kind of like going up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
So I think this may also go depending. Right now, the only thing here is there's a couple of more basis points, right, that the Fed's thinking of pricing in. Right, they're announcing. So we'll have to see, like, how the market thinks about what's already priced in versus what is still to be priced in. So this may go up. That's why my chart right now is still saying here this could go up. I mean, it could go up to like 3.3, 3.25. I'm calling 3.25.
Okay.
Especially if the Dixie goes up, and that's a little bit consistent with before, as you can see, right? It likes to go a little bit above, and it'll come down. All right. So Bitcoin is nice.
Yeah. What I like about it is the structurally, we have been putting in higher lows consistently and still holds.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is the main thing that I'm looking at on whether the markets are still intact in bull market mode, and I'm still bullish. I've said it before, I'm a perma bull, right? But no, but like technically it's bullish. It's technically in a bull market if you follow the definition of making higher lows.
Right. And then did you and I ever talk about this chart?
So what are we looking at?
So here's what I've done, right? So I'm on the 1 week chart. And what I've done is I've layered on the Dixie.
Yeah, I see.
Right.
I see.
And look at the wonderful interactions. Crash,
yeah,
light up, a little bit of whatever,
Yeah.
then a nice little increase, and then comes back down. Right. So at one point they go against each other, then they go together, and then they go against each other.
Oh, there's like some kind of like a lag there, like between the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
price movement down and then yeah, I see what you're
Right.
saying.
Like look at this, right? So since March, right? So since the COVID crash, right?
Yeah.
Dixie crashes,
And that
right?
would have been
This
a
goes
great indicator there, the crossover point of the DXY crossing over the BTC price, the BTC USD price. That
right.
crossover
Exactly.
point would have been a great entry point.
Right. And then right, so crash goes up,
Yeah.
Dixie goes up, right? Bitcoin and cryptos crash.
Right.
But then look, now it's going back up, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just kind of like what we were talking about, the fact that let's say it hits 103, right? We're only here now, right? Let's say this goes up to the 103. Would that be this? Right? So this is this, but the Bitcoin this is right here in the, late high 30s, around the high 30s, 40s. And
Yeah.
then if this thing goes back down to, let's say, in the high 80s, the Dixie goes back into its like high 80s, does that mean that that's when we're going to now start seeing the next big jump?
Yeah. We'll see. I think we'll see something here soon because I mean, we're very close to that 103 target we're talking about. We're not very like we're like within a 1 or 2%. So we should really start seeing if the DXY is going to continue pumping.
Mm-hmm.
We'll know soon. And if it starts to roll over, we'll know. We'll have an answer soon. We just have to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, because if you look at, right, so if you look at this sell-off here, right, so this kind of like sell-off since, the 22. I mean, if you start noticing, like the volume is declining, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sell-off is getting weaker and weaker,
Right.
and the RSI is hanging out here in the bottom in the low 40s. So, like I said, I think it's not financial advice. I'm just accumulating.
Yeah,
Uh,
same. Yeah, that's been the case for me too. It's
I
been hard. I've gone underwater a little bit, to be honest, but it's
who isn't?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I was going to say that, even if you're holding, any stock or anything like that, like we're all pretty much in the same
Mm-hmm.
position. So
Yeah. No, and we'll take a look at like how many people
yeah,
are really above the water right now. But yeah, it's okay.
yeah,
Um,
I think we're all going to make it.
I know we're exactly. Exactly. See, and then so when you do the Dixie, right, on the Cardano, you see the same thing. Down, boof, up, right? Now this is a little bit different here. The fact that this continued to go up, but yeah, it's the same thing as Bitcoin, right? It's coming down. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Today, the big surprise was Doge. Of course, it pumped because anything that happens with Elon pumps, but then it's already coming back down.
Why doesn't he just change it to Elon coin or something?
Wow, who knows? Maybe he is. I mean, he's been responding
Yeah.
quite.
Uh,
He's been responding back and forth with the Dogecoin founder.
yeah. I
Quite.
don't know if he has the power to he may not have the power to do that himself, but he probably has the influence to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's talk. You ready to talk, Ada?
Yes, let's talk ADA and let's hear this news that you have for us because
All
I'm
right,
very
that's
excited
it.
about it.
All right. So, if you recall, tell me if this was a tweet of mine, right? And we look at it April 13, I think. This was kind of like, yeah, we talked about this on April 13, and I said, you know what? In the last couple of weeks, we've added 2 new whales, right, for concentration of 5%. This is all coming from into the blockchain, right?
Uh-huh.
Into the block. And just remember these numbers, right? 4 whales, almost 5%, 3.3 billion. 26 investors at that time, which was slowly coming down, 5% and 3.8. All right, now just for call it for shits and giggles, let's see where we are today. Uh-oh, 2. Uh-oh, we lost 2 whales. But hold on, because now we're doing analysis as if we're James from Invest and Answers. No, but look at the whales concentrations. So yes, we went from 4 to 2, but we got 25% now is whales concentration. While before, right, before this was 5%. And we had 3, right? We had 3.3 billion. So someone came in and bought. We got some serious whales.
Wait, so explain that to me again. The whale concentration went from 5% to 25%. What does that mean, whale concentration?
So there must be some consolidation, right? There must have been some sort of consolidation of wallets, perhaps. But then it's, but it's like high activity, right? So it's
So
like
two people own 25% of the circulating supply or something like that, or what does that mean?
Correct.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Correct. And this is what I'm going to, and then look at this here, right? So the other thing is we've added some investors.
Okay.
Because previously the investors were holding on, they had 3.8 billion ADAs, right? We had 26. Same here. They've been consolidating their wallets. Now there's only 21, but now that holds 4.8 billion.
Interesting. So what was the total number of ADA in whale concentration in your tweet from the past? I just want to see what that was again.
So this was 5% and this was 3 point something. So here, right? It was 4.77.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So 4 whales held 3.3 billion ADA, and now 2 whales hold 23 billion ADA. Wow, that's a significant increase in whale holdings in terms of total amount of ADA held by whales. I wonder who that is. Well,
and this is where, and this is remember I said, like, we're going to be connecting a couple of dots that I'm thinking here of connecting here is, if you recall, there was a couple of exchanges, and I think Binance was the big one. They were like paying out significant amounts of staking, like they were paying out significant amounts in staking rewards, right? Because everyone said that they were short of ADAs.
Right. So they needed more on exchange. They needed more to cover themselves.
Exactly. So who knows? Like, were there some huge OTC buys? Right? Could there have been some significant OTC buys? And the reason why I asked that, because then a couple of, one of these like FUD, really, one of these FUD tweets, right? FUD protection, right? That ADA whale does. He mentioned a couple of weeks ago that he knows that several funds are sitting on the sidelines with some significant money ready to deploy to buy ADA.
Interesting. Well, I wish I knew the names of these funds. That would make
exactly. But that's what he was hinting at, is that he has it on the down low that there's some serious funds, with some significant amount of money who are looking to get in, right? And that would, to me, explain probably some of the activity here on the investor side, right? Where like the investors have added $1 billion of ADAs, right? And then the significant jump, like, what is that? Like, that's almost like a 23 on 4. I mean, that's almost like a 6x.
Right.
That is a 6x.
Okay.
So, this to me, I thought was interesting, right? So this to me was like, wow, okay. We've talked a lot about this. Because if you recall before, right? So before the split was like 5-5, 4-5, and the rest were retails.
Right.
And this has now significantly changed. And then when you come here, this is where you see it. See it? You see that?
Yeah.
So now don't freak out, right? So it's not like retail getting pushed. No, retail is now only has 60. Retail is 69.54. Right. So this is where you start seeing this whole thing where the whales are now back to where they were before. Look at the broader history, right? So the whale is, last time the whales had was this amount, right? Was back in summer of 2020.
Right. Significant.
And at that point, the whales had 9.5, right? What is that? 9.5 billion ADAs, and investors had 2 billion.
Right.
And now we're looking at 23 billion.
Right.
And 5. Now, of course, that's because right? You release some coins, right? So there's a little bit of that, right? It's not a like for like, right? Because we've been issuing, right? Cardano's been issuing new coins, right? So that could be driving some of that variance.
But overall, the whale concentration has spiked up significantly. Towards the end
Significantly.
of the chart there, you can see all the way on the right side. It's a huge spike up. It brings us back to approximately sometime in September, or even earlier than that, in
No, it's
2020,
like, yeah, summer of 2020.
summer 2020. So whales are basically, in other words, if you're voting with your money, you're saying that if you're a whale, you're saying that you're betting on ADA to have a significant increase in value,
Correct.
similar to pre summer 2020.
Yep.
That's exciting. Be
Yeah. So,
nice to
yeah. So
finally
I'm
finally see
definitely
that
gonna,
happen again.
right. Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely gonna tweet about that later today.
Yeah,
I'll link it to into the blog just to make sure that,
yeah,
give them a
and,
chance
and
to.
include a link to this recording so people
No,
can
of
see.
course,
You
of
can
course.
even there's a way that you can actually share at a specific time, so you can go to this part of the video and share the particular timestamp, and people can jump straight into this part of the video if they
Hmm.
want to see it.
Yeah, exactly. No, and then because there's that data point, and then you see it here as well, the distribution, right? So now you got wallets over 1 billion. There's one,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's one wallet that now has almost 21 billion ADAs.
Okay, it's quite good. Um, for those of us who are just joining, we actually have there's a few people on the stream now. A few more people just came on. For those of us who are just joining, we're looking at the Cardano ADA on-chain analysis, and we're analyzing the types of holders, whales, investors, retail, and comparing them to the past history of at what levels they were before in the past compared to now.
So guys, boys and girls, any questions? We'd love to take some questions. Let's make this interactive.
I actually need to check to see if the comments are streaming in right now. I have to switch windows to see that. So apologies for anyone who asked any questions. I just have not been looking at my comments stream. Fundamentals are so sound. Oh, Crypto Capital Ventures here. Thanks, thanks, Dan. Thanks for joining. Yeah, he's on. He's bringing his people with him.
Dan, let us know if you want us to invite you. We'll send you the Zoom link. Please join us. This is some really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Hold on. You know what, Dan?
Here, I'll take care of that. You can carry on with your analysis, Lofus.
All right. So do that. Well, actually, Dan, I'll send it to your DM. Maybe it's the quickest way if he's still on.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and do that then.
It's always great to get someone else's perspective. Dan, it's in your DM on Twitter. Please join us. All right. So in the meantime, let's just do a couple of interesting ones. I always like to do the sanity check, and that's like the social. I don't know. I just like to look at the social, see what it says. Are we still sane? Are we still happy? Those of you who have maybe watched previous Mustafa ones, we're a very happy community. And look at that, we still are.
Yeah.
Telegram sentiment, we're definitely skewed towards being happy versus negative messages, right? So that's fantastic to see. As you can
I think
see,
I said in the last stream that crypto Twitter is owned by Cardano. People don't realize this yet, but they will. Well, if you're in Cardano Twitter, you already know that. We run Twitter, right? So keep up the great work, guys.
Yeah. All right. So Telegram, we keep adding new users. Fantastic. Twitter sentiment. Once again, look at that. It's a more than a 7-8x on the positive versus the negative side. Fantastic. So that's look at that. Great. It's really nice to see GitHub moving along, right? So let's see, what are the keywords here we're talking here recently? Huskincy levels decline. Musk. Oh yes, that's the
Yeah.
Musk Elon
Man, I
meeting.
was really banking on the fact that Elon Musk was, I was really hoping that that partnership would have happened with Hoskinson and Musk. I was really, really hoping that would happen. But, you know, Musk got he got what he wanted.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's never too late. Who knows? There could be still something happening here, right? Maybe it's going to be Elon and Champ Medici and Huskinson will be rolling up a doobie and talking about opportunities here. Who knows? You never know.
Hey, maybe Twitter can switch over to the Cardano blockchain in the future. That would be exciting.
Exactly. I don't think the current CEO is going to make it, quite frankly. I'll be frank with you. I just don't feel like, right? I don't think he's going to make it. Especially that Jack wasn't speaking very fondly of, right? Jack, I think he tweeted the other day, he wasn't speaking very fondly of Ethereum, right? And that's what the current CEO is trying to make a push because he likes Ethereum. And he's like, oh, there's a good chance, in addition to Bitcoin, will add, or have they already added Ethereum? But yeah.
Well, we all know that Jack is a bit of a Bitcoin maximalist, but who knows? I have hope. I think he'll switch over to the dark side, Cardano.
Or at least another Web3 alternative, right?
Or something that holds the Bitcoin philosophies, but still
Mm-hmm.
provides more utility and serves a greater number of people and has more usefulness to the world besides just being a money system.
Yep. All right, couple of things here. We got 11% of the people that are in the money. That's not too bad.
I wish it were higher though, but yes,
Yeah.
it is what it is, right?
Indeed, but let's look at let's go broad, right? So let's go down here, right? Bitcoin, you got 2 points. What is that? Is that change or is that money? Yeah, that's people in the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, not exactly the highest, but I think we're okay. There's plenty of people. There's a few other chains that are, I was looking at it and like look at that, like Algorand, which is I think a great project. And I have respect for the leadership just as I have respect for Huskinson, and that one's also not doing really well. And there's absolutely no reason I would ever sell any of my Algorand.
Yeah, but all these statistics about in the money, out of the money, once the price of Bitcoin goes up, once crypto starts to come back, which I'm optimistic about. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
inevitable. It's not optimism. It's just a matter of when, not if. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that all of these statistics will be irrelevant at this point. Yes, a lot of us are underwater. Yes, we are. We're all in the same boat together. Yes, it sucks. It kind of hurts to be a holder from time to time, but it makes you a stronger person. And there is no better opportunity out there, in my opinion. So it is what it is.
No, well said, well said. And look, I mean, Ada, look at the staking, fantastic staking, right? We're back. That was a little bit of a concern that I had when you look at it is when we were, all right, let's go back to February, right? Number of wallets keeps increasing, right? Then all the way through end of March, we hit a bottom of 68% staked, but then we bounced right back, right? And we're probably higher, or we're really well. I mean, let's zoom out even longer and see, like, are we putting in an all-time high there? Yeah, all-time high. Pretty damn close to an all-time high.
Yeah, from a fundamentals perspective, I can't imagine a better situation to be in as a Cardano holder. We have DeFi with increasing TVL, wallets are
Mm-hmm.
going up every day, social sentiment is increasing every day, the number of assets are increasing every day, the blockchain is getting better every single day. We keep on making upgrades to the blockchain every day. What more could you ask for from a blockchain project? What more? I
Well,
guess you can
everything that
ask
you could
for
ask
higher. You
for.
can ask for. I'll answer my own question. You can ask for better prices, or higher prices, higher value, but that will come. That will come.
Listen, I can't wait for the summer. I think the summer is going to be very, very exciting. Um, you know, from everything that I gather and the way what people are talking about, and then the way, you know, the projects that are on the sidelines waiting to come on. You know, with Hydra, with the Hartford vessel, everything that's coming on board, I could not be any more excited. So
Yeah,
all I look at is I just look at, all right, buy a little bit more. Can I buy a little bit more here? Can I buy a little bit more there? Right. And then you got even silver, right? I mean, right, the silver keeps making these announcements and talking about the fact that, you know, Cardano is in a very special place and in that non-ETH fund, right? And I think it still is in the top position. So even Grayscale's behind it.
yeah, definitely. So what are we looking at now?
So this is just some more on-chain data. I like to look at this. You know, I really like to look at. I just like to look at this little dashboard. I mean, the TVL came down, but that could also be because it's TVL in US dollars, right? So
Yeah, I mean, it to me that's just a natural way of the way things move
yeah,
in general. You know, you have up and then a little down and then up and then a little down, and that's just the way it goes.
this is a nice chart that's showing that there's more. You know, so the transaction types we're shying away from these simple transactions. Now this 334, I wonder if that's it doesn't seem right, right? I don't know if that's exactly correct. So hopefully maybe the team can look at that. Like, how do you go from this kind of mix of transaction times to going back to nothing but almost 100% simple transactions? So I think this could be a little bit of a data flaw here. But
Yeah,
yeah, this is also very healthy. I mean, look, since, you know, just in the last couple of months, I think that's a beautiful thing to look at. That really is it, Mustafa.
cool.
These are the big things I look at, you know, and I'm very hopeful. I'm just very hopeful here.
Well, thank you for coming on today and sharing with us all of your on-chain analysis. I know some of these tools are not free. I know you pay money for these, and appreciate you coming on and sharing them with us with the community. Guys, make sure you like this video, comment, and subscribe. Go to, if you want to get a free Cardano Mastery PDF report, go to thecardanoguide.com, sign up for your free reports. We're giving away 3 free Cardano Mastery reports. If you want to learn about, if you want to master Cardano, make sure you sign up for that. And that's pretty much it. That's going to be it. We're going to wrap it up from here. Low Fuss, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap up?
No, I really appreciate these sessions. I think I hope that they're very educative for the audience. I try to keep it very objective, always data-based. Data, you know, I love data. I like to have fact-based discussions, and I hope that that's what comes across. And if any of you guys have any feedback or anything like that, please provide it to me, and I'm very happy to clarify or correct.
Cool. Follow Low Fuss Crypto on Twitter at Low Fuss Crypto. You can follow me at Mustafa Coin or at the Cardano Guy. So that's it for today.